Oh, here's another thing. I just got to do this one more video and then I got to get to work. I got to get to work. But a subscriber sent me an email today that had a link to a Bloomberg article about how the dollar's next bull market leg is about to begin. All right. So, and in the article, they literally said that Trump's fiscal plans, fiscal stimulus, will spur inflation, and this will be bullish for the dollar. They literally said this. I'm not, taking this out of context or misquoting it. They literally said that the fiscal stimulus will spur inflation. They didn't talk about growth or anything like that. Even that would already be the wrong understanding, all right? But they literally just stated it as, yeah, we're going to get more inflation, yeah, and that's going to be bullish for the currency. So by that same logic, if you want to call it that, but by that same logic, then Zimbabwe should have the strongest currency in the world right now. I mean, think about this. This is Bloomberg. This is the financial company that all these hotshots and traders from all over the world, right, they tune into. I'm not so sure they tune in to read their columns, but this is the company that has the desktop terminals, and they put out a lot of content, not just market data. So here, and I'm sure these writers there are getting paid a very decent amount of money, okay? It seems to me, without any sort of thought behind this whatsoever. And then, of course, it has to go past an editor. So you're wondering, well, who are the editors? Do they have any even the slightest amount of economic understanding? And even if they don't have the slightest amount of economic understanding, I think an ordinary person, a layman, somebody who's not an economist, somebody who's not in the financial business, would understand that inflation means your money is worth less. Okay, it buys less. But here is a commentator for Bloomberg literally writing. They didn't even talk about, really, it wasn't even in the same sentence about, well, that's going to hike up the rates and that's going to make the dollar more attractive, which is a false thing as well. But we know that. But that would at least have been somewhat more sophisticated, but say it's going to drive inflation and that's going to push the currency up. I mean, by that logic, Zimbabwe should have the strongest currency in the world. Or by that logic, the Weimar Republic in Germany in the 1920s should have had, the German mark should have been the strongest currency in the world. I mean, just a little bit of reflection, a little bit of thought before writing something like that. Now, let me just state this again, all right? And I think there's a lot of you out there who kind of buy into this, what this guy wrote here. Maybe not, expressed in those exact words, but you do. You keep saying, oh, the interest rate's going to go up and everybody's going to want to own that thing. Well, then, why isn't it true that when the interest rate goes up, why isn't it cause a huge bond market rally? The bonds go down. The bonds go down. There is a link. There is a relationship between the rate and that asset, the bond, all right, and the discount that equates to the yield, all right. The discount under par reflects the yield, and a currency. I've said this a zillion billion times. A currency is a bond of zero maturity, all right. So the same thing happens, but even more in a more simplistic way, just the understanding that inflation means your currency buys less. That's the definition of inflation, right? It doesn't, the value of the currency then doesn't reflect a stronger exchange rate. That's ludicrous. That should be common sense for people to understand. Yet they're writing it. They're writing it in Bloomberg. This is Bloomberg, the big financial company. Mike Bloomberg is worth $45 billion. Not all of the stuff that he has created is garbage. I guess the terminals are useful if you want to sit. I don't use a terminal. I mean, I could trade off of my iPhone. I don't even need really to see the market very often. I don't. So, I mean, all that stuff, dude, that's like a crutch. People need, I need to look at that price every single second when it's ticking. I mean, good for Mike Bloomberg. He's worth $45 billion. He made those terminals, delivers that information. But a lot of that information, I'm not talking about the raw data, but stuff like this that you see written like this, that is just, it's insane. It is comical. I mean, really, really is. Think about it. Inflation, yeah, let's have a lot of inflation. The currency is going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Let's be like Zimbabwe. Yeah, they're going to have a strong currency over there. Let me tell you. Bye.